Hello again. We're going to move on and talk about something called correlation. This is lesson 7.4, so let's get started. We're going to talk about what correlation is. Correlation is just the relationship, if any, between two variables. And there are words that are used to describe it. It can be positive or negative. So when you draw a scatter plot and you notice that the dots go up and to the right, that would be a positive relationship. If you notice that the dots go down and to the right, that would be a negative correlation. It can be linear or nonlinear. If you try and connect them as best you can, you might end up drawing a line, but you might end up drawing something that looks more like a curve, and that would be nonlinear. It can be strong, moderate, or weak, and that just it just measures how close the dots are to that line that you've tried to draw to connect them all. So if they're really, really close to the line, that's a strong correlation. If they're a little bit far away, that's moderate, and if they're pretty far away, that's weak. Now there are numbers to measure these things, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Outliers. Outliers are basically just those numbers that don't fit the general trend of the rest of the data. And it might be because of an error that you do these, but if it's not because of an error and it's just a weird number, you still need to keep it because it does factor into all of your measurements. All right, and now let's talk about causation, because a lot of people get correlation and causation confused. Basically, causation means that one variable causes the other one to behave in a certain way. And just because there's a correlation between two variables does not mean that there's a causation between those two variables. All right. So, for example, if I measured the average electric bill in Dallas and I measured the median house price in Chicago, or something like that, over days or months or years or anything like that, if I noticed that there was a relationship between those, if there was a positive relationship, as one of them increased, the other one increased, or as one decreased, the other decreased, and maybe it was linear and maybe it wasn't. There may be similar things happening in those two variables, but that doesn't mean that the average electric bill in Dallas causes the median house price in Chicago to go up or down. So I really can't say that one variable causes the other. All I can say is that there's a correlation. So that's it for correlation. We are going to talk about measuring how strong or weak correlations are and whether they're positive or negative, but I'll save that for a future lesson. So for right now, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you tomorrow.